Hello friends, let's make an indoor garden art. For this project, it is the best that you just sketch it on a paper and also label each and every material that you will be using for each portion of your drawing. This will help you plan and arrange your items as you go. Once you are done with arranging your items, it is best that you paint your rocks with acrylic paint and then start working on the leaves and flower portions of your art with the glass tiles. Finish one pot and then move to the other. This will help you drastically in planning and organizing your art. Okay, now let me show you how I cut each and every individual glass tile with a glass cutter. For more information on the material that you will need to complete this indoor art, you can go to the description and also go to the blog where I have in detail shared all the information that you need to complete this art. Here I am cutting the bud portion of the orchids, and for that I started with cutting it in a rectangle and then I will divide it into two smaller squares. Now I want to show you how you can turn a triangular cut tile in the form of a petal for a flower. You just cut the corners and it just automatically becomes smooth and round. You can also use a sanding rock to smoothen up the edges if working with such small tiles and cutting it so intricately is something that is painstaking for you. Here's another one where using the same cutter you can cut a tile into triangle, and if your edges or the sides are not accurate, you can work on it and cut it in smaller portions till you have your perfect tile. As you can see over here, one of the corner was not cut correctly, so I'm just going to use the cutter and make it the size that I require. Also note that since you are working with such small pieces and you're cutting it to such fine lengths, it is important that you have a huge jar and you put your tile inside and cut it so that the smaller cut pieces don't fly away in different directions. Now let me show you one of the petals which has a beautiful eye shape like an almond, and how I cut it, and then how I'm going to use the Mosaic glue and glue it in place in this art so that you get an idea of how you're going to work on each and every portion of your art. Yes, I understand it is a little bit painstaking, but if you love to work with such small miniature art, this is your space. And the end result is going to make you feel so happy that you worked on it and you were able to achieve this beautiful art. So here I start with a rectangular tile and then I work on making it into an almond shape by first working on the tips of it and making it into triangular smooth shape, and then working on the sides to make it smooth and look like a petal. Now I'm going to arrange my tiles and see if I am happy with the arrangement and the flower shape that I am looking for. And over here I think it is perfect and it is coming together like a puzzle. So now I'm just going to use glue, that is the Mosaic glue, to put these tiles in place. For more details on how you're going to glue the Mosaic tiles and how you're going to use a toothpick to remove the excess away and work it such that it is perfect to grout, look at the link in the description for a project in which you do mosaic and you're going to grout your project. Over here, just because this is a mixed media project and I'm not going to grout it in the end, so it's just okay if I don't leave any space between the tiles. There are a couple of ways to glue your tiles just because they are so small. You can either drop a drop of glue on the board and then put them in the place and then remove the excess, or you can just put a very slight amount of glue on the back of the tile and then push it onto the board and then perhaps use a toothpick to remove the excess from the sides. Now, why it is important to remove the excess from the sides? Because when the glue dries and if it stays over there, you will see some plastic transparent type of layer on your board, which will take away the look of your entire project when you're finished. Continue on each aspect of your art, and in pieces and in portions you will see that the entire art starts coming together. It is important that you draw the lines and the leaves before you glue any of the tiles and the rocks in place, because once you glue them in place, you will not be able to draw the line as close to the tile as possible, and that distance between your drawing and your tiles and rocks may take the look away from your completed project. Now I will just fast track and show you how I completed one of the pots. So I cut all the pieces and arranged them, and now I'm picking them up individually and gluing them in place. Now I'm working on the smaller portions where I'm taking the buds and the flower petals and putting them and arranging them in place and gluing them in spot as I go. Now you may notice that I draw my stem and leaf before I start putting my tiles in place. After gluing, I use my tweezer to push them down on the board and then use my toothpick with a piece of napkin to clean up the excess of glue. Now for the fun part. Once I am done arranging all my rocks and my glass tiles in place, now I'm just going to use a couple of markers to draw all the details of the painting and add some more interest to my art. So over here I am using Sharpie to paint on my rocks, but I realized that if I use Sharpies, even though I get my work done, but my Sharpie kind of dries off once I'm done with my art. So that's something that you have to be careful with. So that's why I really recommend that you use Posca markers for this purpose, and I'm going to link those in the description for you as well. And I found that working with Posca markers was the ideal medium for painting on rocks and on glass tiles. It is acrylic, so that's why it gives really nice bright results, and it doesn't even dry off or render my marker useless after doing this project. So for this pot I use some beautiful color contrast and just made a color block and then use Posca marker to put some dots for additional details. Here I'm making some fun circular flower type art using green, and you don't have to be like perfect when making this art. Just have fun, make different creative designs and enjoy the process as you go. This one was really like inspired by the rainbows and some Mexican bright vibrant colors, and that's why I just decided to paint it in yellow and then use markers to give it some details. Another one where I gave it a pink terracotta base to resemble a terracotta pot, and I'm using abstract design to paint this one. Adding some green details on the board with a green marker. It's also a fun idea to use different shades of green and contrast them together. This will give it a more interesting artistic touch. Here I am making some really simple daisy inspired flowers using yellow as my bud, and then I'm going to use gray to give it a fun moving around line art flower design. And we are done, and this art is ready to hang and look beautiful in your indoor garden or any space that you imagine this to look perfect in. This idea opens up a whole array of different variety of projects that you can make by just drawing your inspiration and then recreating it with mixed media materials. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you will like and subscribe and follow along for more ideas. I also enjoy sharing really simple drawings of flowers for beginners who are interested in doing some detail work with pen and pencil. And if you are interested, you can check it out on my website, on my channel as well. Till next time, bye guys, take care, and I'll see you.